Many researchers out there have the desire to publish academic articles and books, but not many of them have the ability to do so because they don't know much about these publications. It is for this reason that I've endeavored in this video to take you through the structure of an academic article so that you'll be encouraged to write that article that you want to write. The channel still remains Biblical Research and Innovation Network for Africa, Brain for Africa or BRAINFA. What is an academic article? An academic article is a scholarly work or a research, an academic research that is prepared and published in an academic journal, a platform for publishing academic work, which are not books but are articles. The article may be an original research article where one does research on a particular topic and then prepares the outcome and gives it to the journal to go through the publication process, which includes checking for plagiarism, editorial checks, then peer review, revision, acceptance, payment, if any, till the process ends at publication of the paper. It may also be a review article, where the article is based on somebody's work that is already done, which may be an article or a book, then the person reviews it. Over here, we're talking about scholarly review. It goes beyond just a summary of what is said in the article or the book that is reviewed to a critique of the content of that particular work so that the public will know the strengths and weaknesses. And it normally ends with a recommendation or otherwise as to whether that publication is worth reading or not. So basically, we can talk about an original research article, and we can also talk about review article. An original research article is longer than a review article, which is normally between 800 and 1,000 words, or 800 and 1,500 words. At most, in some journals, a few that I've seen, 2,000 words for the review article. But for the original research article, it has to be about 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 words. In fact, the list that I've seen so far is 4,000 words. So let me say from 4,000 to 10,000 words. Now, the components of an academic article. The academic article begins with a title which is normally put on top. If you want to write an article, you need a topic or a title which must be concise, informative, and it shouldn't be lengthy. It has to be brief and clear. So clarity is important, brevity is important, conciseness is also important, yet it must be informative. After this comes the abstract, which is a very important aspect of the article. The abstract functions like a preface of a book, which prefaces the book, meaning that it is the face that is being shown first. In other words, it is acting like an usher, a church usher, who is seen first when somebody comes to the church, and so the usher represents the church at that point. The abstract also represents the content of the article or what the article is. That being the case, the abstract is very important in the sense that without it, somebody will have to read the whole article before knowing what the article is about. But the abstract is going to help us to get the concept within the article without reading the whole thing. The abstract normally has a limit. I know that it ranges from about 150 to 200 words. That will be the average. It may increase to 300. It may come as low as 100 words. So that is what the abstract is in terms of length. What does the abstract contain? The abstract, first of all, contains the problem statement What is the problem that you want to address? In fact, every research has a problem that is being addressed, and so we must have the problem that is addressed in this part of the article. And the problem has to be placed in a context. Later in another video, I will single out the abstract and talk about these things. But for now, let me just give an overview. So it must have the problem placed in its context, then the purpose of the article, the methodology used in data gathering and data analysis and interpretation, then the key argument of the article. Then after that, key findings, key conclusions, and finally, we have its contribution to academia. A work that you are doing must contribute to academia. In fact, every academic work is expected to contribute in a way to knowledge or to contribute to academia. And so you must state what its contribution is to knowledge. After this comes keywords. Normally it ranges between 3 and 5, that is the average, 3 and 5. It can go as high as 8, but the average is 3 to 5. The keywords are words that will help search engines. They are central to your article. And it is like, these are the words that if somebody is searching, it will lead to getting your article if somebody conducts a Google search. So they are words that you must carefully choose. They must be key to the understanding of the article. That's why we say they are key words. Even though we say keywords, some of them are phrases. And so it could happen that it is a noun phrase or one word or whatever. But the point is that they are key to the understanding of the work. Between 3 and 5 or whatever the journal that you are publishing in prescribes, you follow that. After the keywords, then we come to the introduction, which places the study in its context. Then also talks about the problem. Then it talks about the various arguments or debates surrounding the topic or the problem. Then it talks about the methodology briefly, then the key findings. So in other words, the introduction serves as, in a way, an expanded form of the abstract. However, there are other components such as the debates going on around the topic. After the introduction, for some work, you need a section for the methodology, especially if it is empirical work, where you have to give detailed account of the methodology. For some work too, the methodological model that you mentioned in the abstract that you expanded in the introduction is enough. If you are going to have a separate section for the methodology, then you should only mention the model in the abstract and in the introduction, so that when you come to the section proper, you now explain step by step what the methodology is about. Then we have the body of the article, and the body is made up of subsections. You don't write body on top, but you now break your work into subsections and deal with them. So you go through each of these subsections, trying to make your argument, trying to make your case. The body may have literature review, the body may have exegetical analysis, it may have data collection, data analysis, whatever, depending on the kind of study that you are doing, whether empirical or non-empirical study. Having completed the body, you now come to the conclusion. And the conclusion of an article summarizes the main points or the main findings. Then it also gives ramifications, implications, if any. It doesn't have to be long. It can be between 200 and 300 words. After the conclusion, we now come to the bibliography or the reference. As you did the work, you made a lot of references to other works. You now come and put all these resources in the bibliography, making sure that they are correctly formatted according to the requirement of the journal, whether the journal demands Chicago style, SBL, APA, Harvard, or whatever they require. You make sure that you do the right formatting. This is where I will end this video. Other videos will come to talk about some of these components separately to give greater details. God richly bless you. I do encourage you to subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so, and to share the link. See you some other time. Bye for now.